Alright, so now that all of that's essentially over, the last thing I want to talk about is the technique when solving, and that has to do with how to get faster at solving. So if you're not really interested in that, if you're just interested in solving the cube, this is completely bonus material. But the couple things that I want to look at are the grip as well as the finger tricks that sort of encompass all of the physical technique that there is with cubing. So first, the grip. I like to have my ring and my middle fingers on the back layer, with my pinkies on the down layer. My front fingers, my pointer fingers are somewhere between the upper face and the back face, usually on the tip or just below, but you don't want to have it too far down because of how you're going to apply moves. Then you want to have your right thumb sort of on this piece here, but also a little bit on the center for stability. It's going to be the main piece that grips everything. And same with this right side, though don't touch them together. None of my fingers are touching each other. It's just a comfortable home grip. So this is home grip. And when we do algorithms from home grip, sometimes we'll go up a bit, but usually this is approximately how we like to hold them. Now, when applying some moves, left moves and right moves are going to be wrist turns. They're going to be the whole wrist. But it doesn't really make sense to then re-grip your hand from this position if you want to go fast to do a U move. Instead, U moves will be done with the pointer fingers generally. This is a U. This is a U prime. Or maybe U prime, but mostly U and U prime. The other technique that's worth trying out is the U2. Instead of going U, you can go U2 by flicking with both fingers. One benefit about putting this finger here, or just knowing how your fingers interact with the cube, is that you can time it such that it looks instantaneous when you flick. U2 can be as fast as U. So that's a technique worth trying, and maybe even U2 prime with your left side, doing the same two moves, pointer finger, then ring finger, pointer finger, then ring finger. Similarly, but with the ring finger now, you can do a D move or a D prime, remembering U moves the upper layer clockwise, but moving with your right finger will move it counterclockwise, D prime. D, D prime. D, D prime. So those are the finger tricks. And again, D2 is possible as well, but much harder. You would do ring and then middle, ring, middle, ring, middle, ring, middle. I think my D2 is easier than my D2 prime, but I would not recommend those particular finger tricks earlier on, so I don't think I'll be going over too advanced finger tricks right now. If you ever do need it, I guess a re-grip would be the best way to do a back move, and I generally do back with my left hand unless I'm doing back prime. But because again my D2 prime going in the direction of counterclockwise is slower than my D2, I find that using my left hand mainly for back moves is easiest, but if you want, I guess you can also re-grip at the earlier levels, but you really shouldn't need to be doing back moves. Most of your algorithms involve just working with whatever's at the front face, the upper face, or the bottom face. So now we have the front move. Front moves are pretty important, and the main way that they're going to be done is re-grip to move something front or front counterclockwise. So in the same way that back is functioning similar to the downward but with a regrip, the front is going to be a regrip of this upper layer move, and F2 is easier than F2 prime by far. I don't even think I ever use F2 prime, but F2 also rarely, but that's about it with moves, except for the one and possibly the most important of all of the finger tricks because it's probably the least intuitive. It's the M move. So when I do U perms or H perms or anything that requires this middle layer to move, I'm not going R2, L2 or RL or LR or anything like that. Instead, I'm using my ring finger, my ring finger, my ring finger, my ring finger. And when I'm doing M2, similar to how U2 involves the ring and the pointer finger, or the pointer and the middle finger, pointer, middle, I use my left hand, and I start with my left ring finger, and then I do my left middle finger. So that's an M2, 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 M2. It's really good to start practicing with U2 first to get that instantaneous nature. Then I would progress to U2 prime with the left hand, trying to do that double flick. Then I would move on to the bottom layer, and I would try D2 with the left hand. And if you can get D2 with your left hand, it's probably time to try and practice the M2 move. So for the M2, you're going to need to hold moderately tight with your thumbs no longer on the center, but just on these outer pieces. Don't put them too close because they'll catch. So you want them to be away from it, and then you'll do the M2. And you still want these fingers on top for stability, but also because they're the moves that do the rest of the U algorithm that isn't the M move. So yeah, M done with the left ring and middle finger, generally in the direction of R first because they're at the back. M2, M2. M I do by putting it, instead of on the back layer, I put it on the down layer and I push upward. But honestly, for M at the lower levels, I might recommend that you just use your right pointer finger and you do M like so. So holding both sides, M. M2, U, M. But M prime can still be done with the bottom layer. It's just M is really tough because it is not so intuitive. But with practice, any of these techniques can get faster. And if you're curious, you can definitely ask for help in the comments. But that's really all there is to technique, so I'm going to leave it there for now.